Here at Mafioso, we want everyone to know that abuse is never okay. There are outlets, there are several avenues that you can use to get help if you need help. Reach out to us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, but do know help is out there. Welcome to Mafioso. I am your girl, Santana Fames. This is my co-host,
Rosilla.
Hey, today we have joining us Bricker Park Soul and For That Key. Go follow them on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Let's get straight into it.
Yes.
Toxicity. I really feel like toxicity is like the new fad. It's like a trend, and I don't think people understand that it is abuse, whether it be mental, physical, emotional. But like, why do you think women stay in abusive relationships?
I believe, me personally, because of a lot of them scared because of the individuals they're dealing with, the man they're dealing with. It could be just because of like so much they don't have nowhere else to go at times.
Okay,
so
good point.
A lot of times they just stick to where they feel like they're loved, but they're really not loved.
I don't think that's love when it turns into like abuse. I really
A
don't.
lot of it is childhood trauma.
I think, ooh, that's a good one.
But a lot of it is also women get complacent of being okay with being, this is how it's supposed to be. I haven't seen it any other way, so hey, he's helping me with my bills, he's helping this, so if I have to take this or that, it balances it out. I'd rather deal with someone who's going to help me versus someone who's not going to help me.
And be on me.
And be right. And they think it's okay. And it's like toxicity is a drug that people don't talk about.
In the aspect of childhood trauma, a lot of these females have seen their parents go through it.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And they just think that's the norm.
True.
Yeah.
True.
People, like you said, people get complacent. Sometimes people find it hard to do something new. Hard to change the aspect of which they live. Especially if this individual, like she said, is providing a lot, maybe he's taking care of the kids, what have you, but it's still no excuse for their abuse.
It's really not.
It's
a lot
not.
of times it's acting out of fear.
Yeah.
Like seriously, because of, like I said, the woman is scared to leave because she feel like the man is going to harm her if she leave, or harm her kids, or whatever the case may be. So I mean,
I feel like that. Okay, so that is traditionally okay. So shout out Houston. We are, if we were to go back and think about it in terms of just our city, abuse was like normal. Like you saw somebody get dragged through the streets by their man or by their, girlfriend, and she was somewhere cutting up. Like that was considered love. They was in the bed the next day. They was out at the next event. I just really feel like emotional intelligence just was not taught for you to know that that is not okay. That is abuse. That can turn into something physical. So.
I just think one of the biggest abuse that we've been taught is that what goes on in my house stays in my house. So we're taught that even though what's going on in the house should be discussed and stopped. But you're teaching, so we've been taught that, so we turn around and we teach our children that. You don't go to school and tell everybody what's going on in my house. It's our business.
Yep.
But, and of course, like they say, the children would lead, and it's usually the children who speak up instead of the adult who needs to speak up,
realizing that something
saying that something is just not right. And then the women sometimes in turn get mad at the children for saying something they should have said.
And that takes us right back to trauma, like Bricker Park Soul said, and emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
You don't have it, you don't know that it's, okay, so let's break this. Okay, so today, Gen Zers, I'm going to just say Gen Zers because it's mostly them, they think it is so cute to be choked in public, or if he talking to me all out the side of his neck, that is cute, that is funny. It is not. It is abuse.
That is not love.
It's not. I don't care how you flip it. It isn't. Like, it's not cute. In public, a lot of people like myself, I'm a millennial. We got to... She's still beautiful, right? I don't think she's a millennial, but
I'm a little seasoned. I'm a little seasoned.
Me neither.
But our experience as far as like what y'all are putting a trend as toxic love is abuse. I don't care how you flip it.
And then we try to. It's some things that are done.
how do they find the reasonable, I would say, how would they find the reason behind it to understand that it's not?
It's not out there. That's why Mafioso is here to educate some, if not most, on things that you just haven't been taught because they're taboo in our community.
Yeah.
Like for that Keith said, what happens in my house stays in my house. So you don't know that it's not okay.
And you sit there and take it.
They take it. You don't tell nobody. You know, emotional abuse is even worse than physical abuse sometimes because you'll always remember that person made you feel like shit, or you wasn't nothing, or you wasn't worthy of someone other than them. And I'll tell you something else about abuse. Once you get used to it, it's almost like they know you're getting ready to leave, so they'll straighten up their act for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then here I come right back, you know what I'm saying, with the gaslight, because why you trying to leave me? You see, I'm trying to get myself together, and this, that, and the third.
Or they get emotional and act like they're going to do something.
There you go. Yeah. The suicide trip. Like, it's all abuse.
Yeah.
They become the victim.
And we even now where there's subliminal messages that a lot of people, especially the younger generation, I have a 30-year-old child. I have a 30-year-old. So her 30-year-old. And I have kids. Even in videos now, you'll see where it's cool to choke a woman during sex because it's sexy. But why is it cool? Even though they say, "Oh, it's really not to hurt you," it's the subliminal thing behind that, right? It's because then you're like, "Oh well, we're not loving enough because we don't do the choking and all that." But why is choking cool?
First of all, hold on. Let me just say, some people like to be choked. We are not coming for y'all, okay? If you want to be choked, by all means, baby, put their hand on your own neck, okay? If that's what you like, do you, boo-boo, okay? But we're talking about where it becomes a gateway to other things. Just like some people don't understand. If he gets mad enough to hit a wall, you're next. Mm-hmm. If she gets mad enough to throw something at you, the fist are next.
Yep.
So look, I would say this right here, because there's different types of abuse. Mm-hmm. There's there's man beating on women, and there's also women beating on men.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I'm a very good person and a victim of that, where a woman is beating on a man. Well, not beating on a man, but just verbal abuse, hitting on you, pushing you, and everything. And the man don't want to react back, to harm you. So you still do it to provoke the man, which is not good at all.
Subsequently, it could be a trap.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we all knew back in the day, if he even lifted a finger after you did him something, he going to jail once you call 911.
And see, and that's a big problem too, because we teach women, a man is not supposed to hit you, but we don't teach women how to be a lady. Absolutely. Ladies keep them hands to themselves. Because I have always taught my girls, if you hit anybody, expect to get hit back. It's a natural human reaction.
Absolutely.
And now, fortunately, laws have become to where it's no longer just a man going to jail. Right. Everybody involved is going to jail.
And that's for coming on with it during the pandemic when they saw people
because some women will use that and they will go ahead and want to be the victim even though they were victimizing the man. You started it. You threw that first punch. But because his punch hit you harder, now you want to call 911.
Really?
And then won't leave him when he go to jail.
True. Be right there to bond him out and go see him and all of that.
I'm sorry.
I can speak to it. I will say for people that don't understand that, trauma responses are real. I am a domestic abuse survivor. I didn't have, like I was telling Rue off camera, I have had my clothes folded while I was still in them. Okay. Now, the reason I did not leave, because I'll speak to the ones that don't leave. You thinking, okay, I want my family, what my mama gonna say, or I don't want them to know because, I can go toe-to-toe with anybody, but this one I never thought they'll do this and that and the third. All of that just signifies that you may need to talk to someone. You can't figure it out all on your own, especially when you're trying to figure out how to go about your day-to-day and you're being abused. And they know you're not gonna leave.
And we need to also address the stigma of where people think women who are abused come from a single parent household. No, I did not. I have
Abuse has no boundaries.
Absolutely. And my parents have been together 50 plus years. I came from a household where you were taught not to leave. My dad literally told me, you know, no matter what goes on, you don't leave. If a man packs up and leaves, he's telling you without telling you he has no problem leaving you. So I never wanted to leave my domestic violence because I thought I could pray my way out of it because we were taught. We were taught not to leave. Yeah. It did not go back to my family because what stayed in my household stayed in my household. But it got bad.
I believe it's healthier these days that they are just leaving on a whim rather than staying for 40. People look at these 45-year marriages and think like, oh, I want something like that. But you didn't know your grandmother couldn't work, and she was dependent on your grandfather, who wasn't shit, who did her all kind of ways because she had y'all, and he was the sole provider for how y'all were gonna make it through school.
Back in that time, bread was 5 cents.
First of all, and women were extremely discriminated against, especially in Houston. Especially black women.
Black women, we've always been at the truth, the less protected, But the one thing that we also have to acknowledge about some black women, we are the actual abuser. And we abuse men through our children. We abuse men of filing child support out of spite, not out of need. We abuse. So we also abuse men, but then want to be the victim of abuse, and we don't want to tell the full story. And I could definitely say, in my situation, did I throw a punch? Absolutely. Was I the winner? And I'm going to be very honest. I'm going to be very, very honest. I knew that it was coming, so I always thought, well, let me go and get my lick now. And that's just being honest.
Do not do that.
Don't do it. But if I had, rather than having that thought instead of the mindset of let me get me and my children out of this, because that led into children, my children, let me speak on my own. My children wanting to tell teachers, hey, can you call CPS?
Ooh, yeah.
And what do you say to that? Because your child sees that you won't leave, but they want to get somebody else involved to make it happen.
As when they get older, they don't think abuse is okay in a certain
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely.
so much.
So 2 things happen with that when a child grows up to see abuse. One, they resent the mother because they're like, well, why you ain't leave? Why, it creates a lack of respect for the parental figure because it's like, okay, well, you left us in this position when you could have just left. And secondly, they grow up thinking that is the norm. That is okay. So you don't need to tell anybody that you're being abused. And next thing you know, you're on the news and we're trying to figure out, well, what happened? He was so cool, or she was so cool, or this, that, and the third. But I'm telling you, it is never, ever worth it. I don't care. Emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, it all is a gateway for something worse.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, some parents, some women actually reach out to their mothers.
Yeah.
Right? Then the mother will tell them, hey,
It's
y'all
your husband.
work through it. Because, let's just say she might be just getting into her freedom. All the kids gone, everybody out there doing her thing. She don't really want to, just
raise another,
She freed herself now.
Oh, come on.
It's like it's your problem.
Right.
More or less. But they'll tell you to stay and y'all work it out. Offer no help.
None whatsoever. Because if we being honest, that's what they lived through, and they didn't teach you that there was a different way. So, I'll be honest, it's a lot of the baby boomer generation and Gen X that came along and really damaged their children, and it's just not something we could talk about. But here at Mafioso Houston, we're gonna talk about it. Some of these mothers just did a terrible job. Okay,
raising that child.
Terrible job.
Yes.
And a lot of women would use that as, okay, well, I don't want to leave them because it's going to get better. And then you're cool with him. You're cool with him, but now your family's holding that grudge that that you let go of.
And now you mad at the
family. And now you mad at the
like,
family.
Well, he said he was sorry.
And now you get to a point to where the family is tired of it because you're not tired of it.
Yeah.
But they tired of hearing you say you tired of it.
Yeah.
They tired of hearing you say that you gonna leave, but you don't. But the second that they say something about him, you jumping on them.
Absolutely.
Even though you gonna call them and say, "Hey, can you come?" Because he won't come.
And you know, in the African American demographic, we are very reluctant to reach out to any authorities outside of our community.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we can find it hard to go to the police, or we could be looked down upon.
Yeah, by your community, by your whole hood.
Your whole community. You got that boy locked up, you knew whatever, yada,
yada.
You got that girl locked up, y'all been doing this, who gonna raise the kids? Well, if you don't get in a better position, you will never raise the kids correctly.
Love it.
Absolutely.
It's time to make a change to stop whatever the abuse is. No matter what kind of abuse, if it's verbal abuse, physical abuse, whatever kind
emotional
of
abuse, it all leads to the same, just dead end.
Most abuse start verbally.
True.
Oh yeah.
It starts emotionally.
That's the tester right there.
Yeah, it's to wear you down.
Anything to you.
Yep.
You lie to me, you'll hit me.
Yeah. It's to break you down emotionally, so you don't have the strength to be physically fighting that person, and then they'll use that mind frame of
they'll throw some stuff back up at you.
Oh, throw it back at you and dare you to throw anything back at them. But it's also been times where I know from personal experience, I have went to the police multiple times, and I had a female detective tell me, "Why are you acting so afraid of him?" Mind you, this is after me having a 2-year restraining order. After
granted? Like this? This is granted.
This is a 2-year granted restraining order to where my information could not be public information. He could not legally know where I stayed.
That's serious.
Choked me till I passed out. My lips were purple. And I had a female officer say, "Why are you acting so?" And what people don't realize is that when you do finally get up the courage and you get these reports done, they ask you in detail every single thing that has been done. And yes, I was honest as to, no, it was not a burning bed situation where I was just completely afraid of him. Yes, I would try to fight back, but again, he's 6'3", 6'4", right? And he's a man overwhelming me, and then I have to think about my children in the house.
Absolutely.
So I would rather me and him go at it versus a child who's 20 pounds. Exactly. And it's always, where was the mother? It's never, where were the police when the multiple calls were done? Where was the help?
Let's bring this to some of the things that's been happening recently.
Right.
Some of the mothers that's been killed.
True.
Yeah.
Some of the children been killed.
Yeah.
I mean, how many instances has this been brought to us over the news, or we should say social media, any outlet? We've heard this a lot. The man taking the kids out, taking the women out, and what have you. And it's like, if you would have gotten to that earlier, and what about all the times that they say, "Hey, well, she reached out to the authorities, she reached out and did this," and what have you. But sometimes they often go back.
True.
Yeah.
They do.
And
True.
it's hard for the authorities to work if you're going to go back.
Right. It is.
But I will. Okay, so.
And I just think it's bad. Like, I think it's getting super bad.
Because it's a trend now.
And it's hard to, even for men, it's hard for you to date. It's hard for women to date. And I mean, you don't know what you're going through. You don't know what to expect. It's just, man, it's like we're in the Wild Wild West.
I'm gonna say this right here. It is a trend. What she said, it is a trend because it's women right now on social media. Like, you would think they would say, or they post somebody say, "Oh, this relationship goes," or this right here, like, this is the best
relationship.
I mean, they the best relationship, and not knowing this woman is getting beat every day.
Getting taught out to wear that, that designer bag or live in that nice house. Like, you never know what people are going through. But I will have to speak to something that Bricker Parks always said. Sometimes you are so conditioned to the abuse that you run back to it. But in other instances, some people who are trying to get help, you get those textbook cases where, and I'm not saying now because the pandemic came through and made HPD come on with it, but you would hear things like, okay, well, is he here now? We can't do anything until we physically see him do
Right.
something. Or do you have any marks?
Actually,
Or do
that's
you?
what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be
They can't
honest.
do nothing
Yeah.
if you
I'm
don't
gonna be
do nothing.
honest. When I was going through a domestic situation, he was a Golden Gloves contender, and he knew exactly where to hit me, so where it hurt real bad for a long time. But no bruises ever showed up. I never had a black eye, never had a broken limb or anything. But I hurt for a long time, certain periods of time. So it's not cute, it's not sexy, it's abuse. I don't care what they tell you on social media.
Absolutely.
Get out, reach out for help. There is help somewhere.
And my thing is that women have to, and it's so unfortunate that we are conditioned that way, is to be strong.
And I say
that
black
is
women.
what it takes.
Black women.
But what about the condition of the men? Like the mental condition of the man that's putting that type of atmosphere out there. Like we gotta speak to that too. Like, hey man, at some point you gotta get some help.
True.
Absolutely.
You know what
But
to
we
do.
also have to understand that, yes, you need help. Yes, I need help. But that doesn't mean we have to have it together.
True, yes.
Because
Gotta be
it's as crazy as these laws are, they could see how many times that you have called the
Calls have been
police.
made, yeah.
They can see, and then you'll have something that says, well, if he comes within so many feet of
Ball
you,
up this piece of
give
paper
us
and
a
throw it at
call.
him.
What is that to do?
That's
You know what I mean? That's really what it is.
Okay.
I'm
It's just a
saying.
piece of paper saying that you can't come, and guess what? If you're not there when the police come, you were never there.
Exactly, and those temporary
And
orders of protection do not
not-
help, especially if
They
he want
don't.
to get to you and he is so damaged to the point where he feel like, oh, if I can't have you, ain't nobody gonna have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that piece of paper ain't gonna do you no good.
No good. And I have literally, and I'm not, and I think women need to stop being ashamed of saying.
because I was
What was?
I was ashamed.
I used to move on the yearly. And whatever you want to think, oh, if I couldn't pay this, that, whatever.
That's fine.
No. The second he
safe.
would find out where I stay,
That's fine.
2 months
I'm out.
at the most, I'm gone.
Hey, and if I can't have you, nobody can have you. It's crazy, bro.
That's a crazy thing.
Chill.
It is.
So, hold on, excuse me, I'm not trying to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
to
have
interrupt you,
I
definitely.
I have a RIP to my brother.
Yeah.
No lie, right here, my little brother. So he was messing with a woman, you know what I mean, for quite a while. And her baby's father, her kid's father was so jealous of my brother because my brother took care of his kids. So he got so mad at my little brother that he went to his own son football game. His own son actual
Little
football
League,
game, a little league football game, and shot my brother in the stomach and killed my brother. And now he got 100.5 years. So now I tell him, I had to say something to him. I said one thing, look, you killed my brother. Now you get all this time in jail, and the girl get to go free and be with any other man, and your kids still have to deal with another individual. So you lost a woman, my brother lost a woman, and now somebody else get the woman. So
We've been speaking to the women
Yeah.
for a minute. Let me speak to the men. Let me tell you something. Hey, bro, women outnumber us 20 to 1.
Yes.
You
Got
got
options.
19 other females
You have
to be talking
options.
to, bro.
Yes, sure do.
And
I'm
it's
talking
sad
about
that even in this toxic, trend that's just going around, you think it's so cute when people fight over you or somebody blowing down your line and you don't want to answer the phone, that you will not tell somebody like, hey, I'm single, but I got this ex that's crazy,
Yeah.
and he will shoot you.
But
And
they think that's sexy.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's
it's
a brand.
not. Imagine if that were you and a girl came over,
Yeah.
or a man came over and they had a knife and they're like, "Who in there?" Okay, well, let's go in, and you got stabbed to death or anything happened. I'm just saying, it's not cute.
And a lot of times,
Your baby dad's crazy. We
It's curtains.
and a lot of times, it's not about the woman; it's about the control over the woman.
That's true. A lot of women just will not
Yeah.
relinquish the control they once had when they was in that
Yeah.
relationship.
It's not
Woo.
that, because dudes know they could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 women. But if I can control this one particular one the way I want
Women
to,
feel the same way too.
Yeah.
He put that glow on. They
Hey.
out of there.
But
Hey.
women feel
Oh
the
my
same
God.
way
It's
as well. If you, okay, so I will say this: you have real. For those of you who don't know, you have real and you have intellectual property.
yeah,
Slavery ended, at least in for Juneteenth. Slavery ended for us in 1867. you don't own anybody. If they want to be with you, they will. If they don't, let them go. Nobody who's supposed to be in your life is going to leave or can stay gone for a long amount of time.
Absolutely.
But if they ain't supposed to be there, they can't stay either.
Anything for you is for you.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. One thing that people have to understand, both women and men, for an abusive relationship, it first starts with the words of because they say certain things to get back into your presence. They say certain things that's going to be after they tore you down by words and beat you down with their fists. But because so many women are in love with love.
Yeah. Say that again.
So many women are in love with love. Exactly.
It's not the actual feeling.
Exactly.
In love with the word love.
And one thing I've always admired about my father, my dad has always told me, love is an action first.
Yes,
you
it
can
is.
say it, but you have to prove it.
Yeah.
You could tell me you love me all day, but then if you say something, I've had my ex hawk from the back of his throat, spit in my face in front of our children.
Oh, man.
Wow. So that sticks with. So even when I hear spitting, like people spitting, it makes me cringe. Yeah. There's certain triggers you'll always have, but now those triggers are also with my children. You know, so you have to think about what emotional games have been done, and people learn, not just men, because you know, as Ruth said, you have women who would do that same manipulation. Oh, I need you, because a lot of men love to know that they are needed, but they need to understand you should want someone who wants you, not who needs you. Yeah.
That comes, like I said, in our demographic, where we live, where we from, as African Americans, oftentimes we find love in the wrong place.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of the wrong
place.
place.
Identify and figure out what love is without a textbook. You know what I mean? So.
But the African American man has been taught that he's not needed. So when you get a woman who tells you you're needed, that's love to a lot of men. To feel that, because you're beat down by the world all the time, every day, just for being black. So when you get a woman who wants you and who tells you she needs you, not just financially, she needs you being there. But it's also some manipulation women know how to do.
Once a man goes out into the world, because first off, let's just understand, we are protectors and conquerors. When we go out here in the world and we get through battling through the things that we go through, when we come home, we want to take our armor off.
Yep. You want to have your safe space.
We don't want to battle our woman when we come home.
Speak, brother.
Yeah.
Hold on. That was both of these were awesome points, but let me throw a wrench in there, because some men are so traumatized, and I'm speaking to my black men because, like as he said, our demographic just got the short end of the stick all the way around. Yeah. Can we talk about how abuse is normal, and then when he gets with someone who is not abusive and she just loves him and just wants to need him and wants to be wanted, she becomes his enemy, because I don't know how to love you. I don't know how to take you just wanting me for me.
Yes. We don't know how to identify.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like I become your enemy because you love me and you can't get rid of it, but it's just like I don't know how to do this with you.
I wasn't with that. I was always being abusive. I was always getting abused.
And I was needed, and I was...
African Americans ought to have free counsel.
I really
Absolutely.
think so. And reparations, you know.
Absolutely.
More Johnson, because we need some reparations.
Keep your reparations.
Just give me my 40 acres and a mule, you know.
Hey.
You'll own the whole world.
And I think that we need to normalize communication.
Absolutely.
And not the yelling and the screaming, and not communication to where your point gets across, but to where we understand.
Yeah.
Or
attack the problem, not each other.
Exactly. And it's okay for us to say, it's okay for you to have your point and me to have my point. Let's come back at another time when we're both still cool.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll come back and reevaluate this.
And let's learn not to have, I'm going to put that in my arsenal. I remember you said that, so I'm going to wait until I can throw that. Yeah. Because women and men, but women are very, and I can tell you, being petty, sometimes I do take pride in being, and I can be. I mean, it's something I'm working on.
It ain't just women.
Yeah, but we will hold things that we should not.
Especially when you need them. Don't need them.
Yeah.
Brother, for the moment, just let that woman win.
Hey, what?
You can come back and negotiate that at another time.
And you know what?
Waste my time.
It's not worth it.
Arguing with a female. First off, the octave is just too retarded. So
everybody don't yell.
Back and forth and
everybody don't yell.
Everybody don't yell, but
arguing is healthy sometimes. Sometimes it is.
It depends on the situation.
It depends on who you're arguing with. And
the debate may be healthy. But
I'm gonna give guys.
I believe some argument, as long as it remains on a respectful
level, not to be hurtful.
Okay, well, a debate. Okay, I stand corrected.
Disagreement, disagreement, and then we're just talking amongst each other. But when it becomes to the screaming,
go way up.
If you say anything, I'll put my hands on you type stuff, then that's
screaming at me. I'm leaving.
The best, I'm gonna tell people, and
I swear to God, I'm going to.
I'm gonna tell people the best thing and the best way I have ever gotten my point across to another man is when we're in that loving moment and my voice is low. You're more receptive to what I'm saying, and then they're more receptive to be back.
You just set the perfect scene to win.
I disagree.
I'm just saying.
I disagree.
That might be your approach.
Because let me tell you why I disagree. That may work for the moment to have the dust settle.
Right.
But if you are not intellectual enough to understand what I am telling you, because it is important to me, and you're just dismissive, because at the end of the day, if you don't understand it, it's just dismissive. Like, yeah. If you don't understand, ask me, because when you continue to do the same thing that caused us to get here, that caused you to walk off and me to be silent. Let me tell you something what I learned from an old person. Words hurt, silence kill them. We can go 2-3 months without talking to each other.
We need to better evaluate the people we are dealing with. Hey man, we in the
that's a good point.
Real talk. We in the red flag era. If you don't, you're supposed to be looking for red flags first, man.
Look, I got one good relationship left for me.
So
We think that's cute. You know what I mean? So hey, man.
But sometimes, and that also puts in, we don't, as this generation and younger generations, don't want to do the work that older generations have done.
You will no.
I'm just saying, because younger generations will pack up, leave, and be done, but don't want to do the work.
Hold on, because all that they saw was that the work get done, quote unquote, and their grandmother was still unhappy. Their mama was still unhappy. So they don't see the value in the work anymore when they're not understanding that, okay, these two people were never going to work together anyway. So I respect Gen Z. Yeah. Just like, you know what? I'm out. I don't want to do this, whatever. So let's normalize leaving when all the red flags say, hey, it's time for you to go.
Yeah, because I don't even do red flags. I just do one. I got one good relationship left in me. I'm trying to get past that 7 days. I'm trying to get past the 7 days.
Just because you leave, like, you made a bad decision, or why would you leave your family? Or why would you? If the situation is not getting better, or it's always at a headbutt, you know what I mean? We're never, sometimes it's best for you to go, because sometimes we want to go when we want the door to stay open. God want the door to close for us.
Yeah.
We're trying to make this door stay open.
It only gets worse.
It will get worse for you too.
I can see that. Yeah. But sometimes we got to look at these relationships just like we do our job. We know we're gonna be for real. Because some people just don't get up and walk away from their job. They fake it until they make it. But sometimes that's how you have to do with these crazy relationships. You gotta fake it till you make it. You know he gonna throw a jab. You know he gonna spit or do whatever or break up stuff. Okay, so let me be cool until I gotta exit. Because that's what I did. I didn't move off of emotion. I moved off of when was the most safest, easiest way for me to go, and you don't even know I'm gone.
Right.
Until by the time you come, you have to do that. So we have to learn not to be so emotional.
The reason why I say that, because like I said, like some women are in relationships with fear, with a lot of fear. So you don't want to leave at a certain point. You think, oh, he's going to kill me, or he's going to choke me, or he's going to run me over, or he's going to hurt my children. So it's sometimes, like I've seen women with movies and all this. As soon as that man go to sleep, as soon as that man lay down and close his eyes, he's tired, he worked all day, he came home, he went to sleep, and she packed everything. And he woke up in the morning, he was like, baby, hold on, baby.
Hey,
It worked in the movie.
Hey, let's throw this in. Or she killed him.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that's true.
That's true.
Hey.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'll be honest, like I said, I have gone through I have lived through domestic violence.
Yeah.
In Houston, I will say I ain't taking now another lick off a nigga. I have a whole bunch of firearms and I'm waiting. Come on, you bad. Come on. But you never wanted to get to that point because, you know, I'm a mother. So my children don't have that same mentality.
It's
Like,
like here though.
yes.
Yeah, because look how many
But they had to live through
look how many
domestic.
females have been in domestic violence. They did exactly what I just said right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now kids are gone. They staying with the grandma.
True.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dysfunction going on because they can't understand why their mother's not here.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So they
The
grow
mother
up.
did something that she felt was saving the children.
Right.
And
They said,
sacrificed.
But that child
Yeah.
is gonna grow up feeling like, well, you basically chose that person over me.
Yeah.
It's just we gotta get it together,
The
y'all.
lifestyle for you.
This ain't grandma's table. We're gonna talk about all these things. Nothing is taboo here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's most definitely a safe, and I don't think people feel like they have enough safe
And
spaces.
support.
Yeah, because social media is not a safe space.
It's not.
It's a space to judge you, to judge what you have, what you're doing, and that's why people only put their happy moments on there.
What? The
They
people
never
you know,
put on there.
They are not
Yeah.
living their life for real. Let me just tell you.
Social, boy.
Hey.
Fake it till you make it, man.
It's just like, my thing is, people have to be okay with not being good with everybody, not everybody being liking you. And as much as I try to teach that to my children and try to, because I've seen so many women just be with the guy because they know they rent due on the first. And when I say be with them, I mean you that moved in.
Man,
And I tell,
wait a minute, what about when they moving in with them?
I'm just saying, but my thing is this: you can help me pay whatever you want to pay from whatever you lay your head, but it won't be at my residence with my children.
Period.
Because I have
You ain't
girls,
coming over
so
here.
I don't want my girls, because back in the day, you know how mama's special friend would be
Nice.
Uncle
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
da 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 da.
Yeah.
Now, even though my parents have been married 50 plus odd years, so I never had, but I had friends who had that. So, but I've always taught my children that women could hustle as hard as any dude. It don't have to be drugs. I've worked 3 jobs. I've worked 2 jobs. I've worked to do whatever. And the thing is, if you teach your children it's okay for you to do for you, then you're going to be with somebody who you want to be with, not someone who you need to be with, because the one thing that's always coming is the first of the month.
Hey, that
So,
man is coming. with
It
something
is
else.
always coming.
Every month.
Every month.
You can
That-
outrun the mailman.
Hey, it is coming, and like I tell my daughter, it may come with late fees for you, but
That's all
have
right.
your peace.
All right.
I would rather pay
I'm
late
the
fees and
post-job
peace.
pay
Yeah.
late.
They'll still take the
I'm
payment.
paying with the big bill.
Yeah.
Okay, at first you want me to know I still
That was
got
just a
my
notification,
check.
yeah.
I'm paying when you say you're $10.
Yeah.
I'm paying those times.
But yeah, I mean, and it's okay to teach our kids that instead of teaching them you have to be, because my oldest sister, who's every bit of 10, 12 years older than me, she always used to tell me, you need to get you an old man to help you pay these bills. No, ma'am. Absolutely not.
Worms, though.
Hey, anybody, can y'all write us and let us know if that's true or not? Because I don't believe that that's true.
Hey, I'm the old dude. That shit fake.
Yeah, I don't
Just
think
them
it's
sign
real.
up here.
I
They
really
ain't got
don't.
no.
I'm just joking.
But look, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mothers who pawn their children off. Now let me
Yeah.
tell you something. I grew up in the '80s, right? I saw all the epidemics before the pandemic. I'm talking
Yeah.
epidemics. I'm talking about what was going on in the crack era, what was going on in the smoke and fry era. I done seen it all.
Hey.
And I done seen so many females be pawned off older dudes
Yeah.
via their mothers.
Yes.
Yeah,
right on,
yeah.
right on.
Because that
she
was
trying to get rid of
common.
you.
Right
That's
on.
why I say we are
Yeah.
gonna sit here and we gonna finally admit that the mothers coming up raising children in your era, they failed terribly. Your sons, they look at y'all like, okay, well, this is my woman, but let me go ask my mom. And some of the mamas feel like, okay, well, that's my son, and you, if he hit you, you must have did something. That's BS. I'm telling you, yo, if that man is attached to his mother like that, girl, leave. If that woman is attached to her mother or her father like that, girl, leave. Man, leave. It's not worth it. It'll never be worth the hell that is alerting you that it's gonna be.
People will hold a grudge for you.
It's not worth it.
You may definitely move past. You may move past something else. Family will hold that grudge for you. So you gotta understand. And I get to a certain point of what goes on in my house because everybody don't need to know everything that's going on in your relationship.
If it's life, limb, or eyesight, as we say in the military,
Yeah,
you better tell somebody.
absolutely.
I'm gonna be mad right now, but we will eventually figure it out.
From that. Exactly.
And you know
figure
what?
it out.
I was in a domestic violence relationship where he was always crying to his mama. And
I'm saying because of the
Because
black male is so broken. It just it's
and we went through.
Listen. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes, by us being the protector, the provider, and what have you, a lot of women and people in the world forget about our emotions.
Yeah.
We are taught
To,
to
yeah.
be emotional.
less. Yes.
We are taught
Yes.
to be hard.
Yes.
Stop all
Yeah.
that punk ass crying.
Yep.
Stop
Yep.
all that bullshit. You acting like a little girl.
Yep.
All
Yep.
that shit right there.
Yeah.
But- and then the females have been brought up so masculine to if you show any of those emotions to them,
Yeah.
they are this a big ass nigga.
Yes.
Yep.
You know
Totally
what I'm saying?
agree.
So that's how they wind up with a pro
Yeah, I've
box
had to have my
on.
own. I've had to have my own
That's
therapeutic
pro-box.
sessions because that is absolutely right. Cause
It is.
I mean, first of all, I'm from the south side of Houston. I don't know about nobody else, but we don't do all that crying and we don't do all this. We're going to figure it out. We're going to hustle. That is total bullshit. I am so sorry that they taught us that, but it is.
It is.
It
And
is.
I was raised by a military man, so my father ruled with the iron fist, but I was taught that your love is action. Quit lying, telling people you love them, but when it comes down to it, you ain't showing up for them. So my dad
Come on,
always
come on.
showed up for me.
Come on.
You know what I mean? I could count on one hand how many times my father said he loved me, but I got daddy's favorite tattooed on the back of my neck because I know.
So
the
that
love
goes to
that-
love language is.
Yeah,
Like,
like he.
I'm
So
talking about, and that's a hardcore
especially back in
area
the
to
day.
grow up in.
Especially back in
It
the
is.
day.
You know what I'm saying? Man, Sunnyside taught me to be hard, not so much emotional.
yeah,
Even when my grandma, my favorite person, I love her to death. But my grandma was so stiff. You know what I mean? And it came from her being in an abusive relationship to where even when my mother was in an abusive relationship, my grandma didn't respond properly, which damaged me because one night they was in the bed asleep. He used to keep his 45 on the dresser. He was dead sleep drunk. I went and got the 45 off the dresser, cocked it back, and all I had to do was put 2 pounds of pressure on it and I'd have popped it. And that's what made my mama leave.
I know that's right.
She didn't know, I told her the
I know
next
that's right.
day.
She was like, before I ruin my
When she
son's
woke up
future.
the next day, she was taking me to Sunnyside Elementary the next day. And I told her what I was gonna do, what I did, and how it went down. She left a week later.
yeah.
Hey, you don't want to put that much pressure
On your
you
children.
I was gonna pop him too.
We believe he hey, listen, look him up. That's all I'm Google.
I wasn't raised by that. I was raised by a little bit of my mother and a little bit by the streets, which is not good to be happening. That was not good at all.
not.
'Cause I didn't, no one taught me how to treat a woman. I just went by what I seen. What I seen, what I felt what was right, what I felt what I knew in my heart. So I mean, like a lot of things come from like when you growing up, who taught you this? Or did your father teach you this? Did your mother teach you this? Or did your uncle teach you anything? A lot of that, I didn't get a lot of that. I got it off what I seen.
Right.
Gotcha.
So the way I reacted was wrong a lot of times. I know how to love a woman the right way. I know how to treat a woman the right way. I know how to teach my kids the right way because I didn't have that at home. I just had what I thought, what I knew, what I was supposed to do. And I just did, that's the way I reacted a lot of times, which is not good. But I'm learning, I'm still learning as I go.
Always learn.
I'm still learning as I go.
And another thing that was funky, I didn't have my father around. So I took bits and pieces of every man, the hustlers, what have you. But let me tell you something. That same dude I was in the pop, he taught me a core value too at the same time.
Come on.
Now, not to say that anything, that's to exclude anything that he did that was damaging.
Right. No excuses for that.
But one good day, hey man, you can get the truth out the devil.
Yeah.
Just ask him who God is. Ask the devil who God is, man. You get the truth out the devil, man. He gonna tell you.
Right on.
So all in all, it looks cute. It's a nice hashtag. This is Mafioso. This is for Houston, by Houston. This is Houston in our own words. And we are telling you, get you some help.
Do not get abused.
It's never okay. I don't care how cute your friend think it is.
Don't be the abuser.
True.
Absolutely not.
And as men and women alike, anybody can be an abuser. But if you get a gut feeling that something is not right.
And I know I might be pissing in the wind with this, but African American people, we need to heal.
Yes.
So much.
Yes.
Find you some counseling.
Yes.
If you're a woman with children, they
Take
have
kids with
all kind of aids and everything for you to get help.
They do.
They do.
I think a lot of African American women don't take advantage of some of the things that are allotted to them.
Because the stigmatism.
Because they want
The
to
stigma.
look weak. You know what I mean? And also.
And then they only want us to think it's food stamp and housing that's available to us, and it's not. It's not.
Available. It's a lot of other.
Absolutely, it's a whole lot.
Things available behind that.
Yeah.
And African American men, man, don't be afraid to be emotional, bro.
Come on.
You find a female. If you got a female that don't know how to succumb to your emotions, bro, you need to bust a move. That's not it.
Everybody needs a safe place to be vulnerable because you're going to be at some point.
And one thing we have to learn as Black people, it ain't always just go to church and just pray.
Come on.
God has allowed therapists and psychologists. You don't have to have a psychiatrist to get medication, but there are plenty of Black psychologists out there who can relate. I highly, because I do therapy. You can do therapy by your phone. We will end up
really simple now.
Yeah, we will end up giving y'all information as to how you can get therapy by your phone, how you can get the first free sessions paid for. So we will definitely give out information as to that. I have information as to that. A lot of my old coworkers tell you I'm a hustler. I know a lot of free stuff because I've been a single mom for a long time. And I definitely, but it is. It is not just
her info in the bio.
Just put my info in the bio and DM me.
We always run into Jesus. You can pray all you want, but you gotta make one step for God to make two.
It's called faith without works. So that means you got to do multiple things.
Yeah.
You can't just pray. Faith without works, multiple things.
And the Bible also says, study to show thyself approved. So if he ain't showed you, or she ain't showed you, we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But there are several, avenues for you to get help. And we will be taking all of that information down below. This is Mafioso. This has been your girl, Santana Fangs.
And I'm Ruzilla.
Ricker Park Soul.
For that key.
And we just want to thank them for joining us on today's episode of Mafioso. And we will see y'all next episode.
Right on.
Thank you.